Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Good morning or good afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. I'm back again. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Getting back in the saddle now. Did a little bit of just kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it administrative stuff this morning to kind of provide some type of update on the deals that we have in escrow right now that we're hoping to close. One of them, if you watched my recent videos, we ran into an issue where we weren't able to complete the survey because the original records of the neighborhood, learning lingo and all that terminology and stuff too. So I could be just speaking ignorantly right now, but we were having trouble with the original records from the county because they were destroyed in the hurricane back like 5 years ago. So ran into a little bit of an issue there, but we were able to, or rather, my title company was able to uh, get a hold of another survey company. I don't know my escrow officer's goal or plan was to find an older, more established title or survey company that might have had the records that predated the hurricane, because the initial survey company that they went with was kind of newer and less established, and so my escrow officer thought maybe that was why they didn't have older records. Switch seats. I'm sorry. I know this lighting stuff probably so annoying. Um, so, anyways, they were able to get a hold of another survey company, and they got it back with the quickness too. I'm talking like a couple days, I think. So now, that's what happened on that one. My buyer reached out to me, um, said that my title company got a hold of him, let him know the survey was completed, and now they're just coordinating, trying to figure out a closing date. He said that it's looking like possibly Thursday, but we're still just looking to confirm when everybody's, the title company, I believe, still has to just draft the preliminary settlement statement and kind of put everybody on notice, give everybody an opportunity to review it, the buyer specifically and the seller, to just so that everybody's on the same page about when the deal gets funded, where all of the money is going, who's getting paid, the liens getting paid off, the taxes are getting paid off, the seller's getting this much in their pocket, you know, yada yada, so on and so forth. So that needs to be drafted, I believe. Everybody needs to be given an opportunity to review and approve it. And then once that's done, it's just a matter of getting in there to sign the closing documents. So kind of the next steps that I have on that one, just a little checklist that I have for myself is um, I say clear title. It's just essentially when the title company is done doing their job prior to the closing date. Confirm the closing date with everybody. I just got off the phone with the seller, kind of put him on notice as well. Hey, we got the survey that came in. Still just a few more things that need to be done on the title company's end to confirm, but you should be hearing from either me or them to coordinate the best date and time for you and your wife to sign the closing documents. I feel like I kind of reset his expectations like a week or two ago once we started running into these issues. So he's kind of just like, I'm done promising him. Like at first, I was kind of over promising and under delivering by kind of wishful thinking. My wishful thinking was coming across as actual promises to him, which I know is incorrect. I was letting him know that it's looking like this date, it's looking like it could possibly get done this week, and then when it didn't happen that week, it's like, oh, sorry, it's actually going to happen another. And then at one point, I was like, like I'm done promising stuff to you because I don't, at this point, it's kind of out of my hands. We were just waiting on stuff to get back from the city, which was the lien payoff and then the survey information. So I said, once we get that done, we'll have a much clearer understanding of what the next steps are. So at that point, I had that conversation with him maybe a week or two ago and kind of reset his expectations. So now every time I talk with him, he's just like, yeah, cool. Let me know. I'm ready when you are. So that's kind of how the conversation went earlier. So now I'm just going to wait to hear back from my title company. I just reached out to see if there's anything that they need from me. I'm assuming there is not, other than like my bank information when it comes time to cut the assignment fee, but I'm not even going to worry about that. Quite honestly, the more I think about that, I think the more it takes away from me, offering value first. I want to make sure that everybody else is taken care of. That's something that I've really been kind of meditating on, is just value first, service first. And I know that people say that all the time, but their actions don't necessarily align with it. So I just want to make sure that I'm kind of like a man of my word when I'm telling myself, like, look, it's all about the seller, and the buyer. Truly, the buyer is our client. So I want to make sure that not only the seller's taken care of, he gets everything that I promised he would get, but also that I'm quite honestly offering up this deal on a silver platter to the buyer, because that's I was reflecting on this morning. I was talking to Jared. That's truly what they're paying the assignment fee for, is so that this deal can be served up on a silver platter, right? So I want to make sure that uh, I'm extending this equal or more value than what I'm going to receive in money after the fact, and the money will come, right? So I'm not even really thinking or stressing about that. So I mentioned, giving the title company like my bank account information. Like, I'm not even going to worry about that, to be honest, until they ask for it and they're like, "Hey, where do we send this money?" It'll come as a surprise to me, hopefully, and be like, "Oh yeah, here's my bank information." But I don't want to be the guy who like leads with like, "Hey, just so you know, here's my bank information when you want to send me that money." When it's all like, it really isn't about me. Um, it's about the buyer and the seller. So I want to make sure that I'm the liaison and the perfect middleman for everybody involved. And then once everybody else is taken care of, I'll worry about getting what's mine. But at this point, I am going to hit some follow-ups. I just want to make a habit of, uh, I'm strapped for time. So when I pull up my computer in the mornings, I want to make sure that I'm kind of focused on the back end of the deals that are approaching the finish line. I want to make sure that those are prioritized. And then after that, I just want to make sure that I'm staying consistent to some degree in terms of the follow up and the lead generation. For now, with the time that I do have. But then moving forward, once this deal closes, you guys will see, hoping a lot more of me. After this first one closes, I'm going to start easing my way into it, into allocating a little bit more time into wholesaling and away from my side gigs. And I'm grateful for the fact that I don't have a boss. I make my own schedule in terms of my side gigs, so it gives me that flexibility to be able to say like, okay, I'm going to allocate 2 more hours a day into wholesaling and take that away from my side gigs and kind of just start playing around with it like that, to see how long I can make the money stretch without just kind of like getting paid and then wasting it, getting paid and then spending it on marketing or a new list, or don't get me wrong, I'm going to buy a new list, but no point in going crazy with it. So what? I'm so confused now that I have so many of these apps. All right. All right. Let me see who is to be called. Spoke with seller, wife's out of town. Will call me. This one was so interesting to me. I always was under the assumption that this gentleman's wife had passed away, but he had mentioned her in the last phone call. Spoke with seller, wife's out of town. Will be back next week. Mentioned how expensive it would be to get an apartment and make him appreciate him owning his home even more. That being said, he considered fixing up and keeping it. He gave me permission to follow up a week from the 28th, which was exactly a week ago, last Monday. He said, if you don't hear from me, you can call me. I would like to think that he's probably getting other offers, is what's really happening. But let's see. I'll be frank with him. Hey, Jim, how's it going? This is Derek. This is Derek. We've been going back and forth a little bit about your place on Glacier Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, did I catch you at a good time?
No. I'm glad you called, though. I need to get back in touch with you.
Yeah. When's a better time for me to give you a ring?
I'll call give me a call back tomorrow.
Okay. Does morning or afternoon work better for you?
Uh, give me tomorrow.
I'm sorry, you had cut out.
Yeah, by 1 o'clock.
About 1 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, I'll pencil you in right here.
Okay. Oh, all right. Bye.
Talk to you then. He was in a rush, and I was getting another call. Another spam risk call from Norwood Young America, Minnesota. Probably not all I'm wanting to take. A little bit of the same on that one, but at least he was like, he saw me point. He's always, I'll call you, I'll call you. But then he kind of switched gears and was like, give me a call. You know, this guy's motivated. He just forgot. So in this case, this is something that me and Jared have talked about, a lot about as well, because we're talking to so many people, right? Every day, talking to so many people, and stuff like little conversations like this will happen where it's referred to it as an appointment, quote unquote. Sorry, I don't know if I'm cutting out or not. It says my connections. Sorry, it was saying my connection was unstable. I'm not sure if it cut out at all, but I'm going to go ahead and I said I'm going to refer to this as an appointment, quote unquote, appointment, because we've established a day and time for us to talk on the phone. So now I can treat that phone call like an appointment, right? I can pre-qualify. I've already pre-qualified him. I mean, Jared's already on an appointment with the guy. It's just a matter of coming to an agreement on price and like seeing eye to eye on how it is that we're going to get things done. He was at 115. I think our max on this one should be something under 100. Jared went out to the appointment and offered, I think, 90. When I spoke with him on the phone, I had offered anywhere from 80 to 90. So he was like, yeah, that was just kind of coincidental too. But it was like enough for him to be like, yeah, it's kind of what Jared was saying. That's kind of what other people were saying, like, so he's at that expectation that he needs to come off his price a little bit more, I think. And then it's just a matter of coming, like I said, seeing eye to eye. We're only like, 25 off. So even if we met in the middle at 100, I think we could probably get it done, but it would be something where it would just be a little bit too tight for comfort. I think buyers on this one, I said projected cash buyer offers probably going to come in anywhere, but everything needs to be updated. Let's see how many square feet. It is 1,700 square feet. Yeah, so I mean, I think a buyer is going to come in right around 100. Conservatively, right? That's like a $85,000 rehab, and that's me taking ARV at 75%. I mean, if you want to get real conservative with it, you take it at 70% and say like, yeah, 90 rehab or something like that, which would bring you down to 85. I think that's like a low ball, to be quite honest. I think a buyer like I can get a buyer probably at like 110. So just kind of gonna try to keep it at 90 there. Keep the spread there for any margin of error in my calculations, or in case buyers are really not, going for it. And but I think based on I've kind of have a pulse on it right now. I've had some buyers reach back out to me asking like, hey, do you have anything? So although it may be a quote unquote buyer's market, I do think that we're kind of sitting in the transition period where sellers still haven't come to the realization and buyers are steadfast on, no, this is a buyer's market. So they're not willing to come up on their price. So I feel like we're in that kind of awkward in between phase right now where buyers may seem like Well, they can take the stance of saying like, no, it's a buyer's market. I'm only going to offer you X amount, which is lower than what the seller may expect. But the seller may still be a bit stubborn uh, as of now and haven't fully come to the understanding that it's a buyer. I feel like, again, they're steadfast in putting their foot down and saying, no, we're only going to offer up to X amount. But at the same time, they're still kind of not desperate for deals, but they're still hungry for deals. So um, I think that they are coming off of their offers a little bit, but if they still want to kind of keep the lights on and keep their crews active, I think that some of them are willing to come up a little bit more. But I say what I say so that now we've try to make a little bit more of a intentional effort on setting reminders and stuff, because I was gonna say like these conversations happen where it's just like, yeah, call me tomorrow, call me at 1. And I want to be sure that if I'm going to tell him I'm going to call him at 1 tomorrow, I'm going to call him at 12:59. You know what I mean? And I'm going to set myself a reminder an hour before. So just in case I'm out and about doing something, I'm like, oh, damn, I forgot. I'm supposed to call this guy in an hour. So we're just getting a lot more intentional about that because, at times we may come across somebody and say, yeah, we'll call you tomorrow at 1, and then we just forget because so many, like I said, so many of those conversations are happening every day. Promising that we're going to do something, we see it through and we actually do it. Let me get on with some of these other folks. Today's the 5th. Good amount of follow-ups in here. See now, okay, this is what I want to make a habit of doing actually. So right now, I am going to go through these and call a lot of these people, but I also want to just like, because there's a lot of people called today. But at the same time, I want to quickly scan through it just to make sure that, because there's a lot of people to call today, but there's not a lot of people who we have agreed to call today. Like I just agreed to call that guy tomorrow at 1. Out of the probably 20, 30 people that are in here that we have, put the due date on it for today to call them today, a lot of those may have been set, 6 months ago, where somebody said, yeah, call me in 6 months. So today isn't like these sellers aren't waiting. Like I told him to call me 6 months ago. So if he doesn't call me today, I'm not doing business with him. Today is exactly 6 months. It's like if we call him next week, it's not going to be a big deal. But I want to quickly scan through the leads in the pipeline to see if there is anybody who is set for today to call that we had agreed to call them today at a certain time. So again, just wanted to I really want to make sure that is something that is a point of focus. This guy had a piece of land that he was wanting to sell next year. Talked with him in August. He said, call me towards the end of the year. Thanks. So looks like the property I called him on is not the one he's wanting to sell, but in batch, there's no other properties listed as like linked properties with him. So when I connected with the land he's wanting to sell. All right, this guy. Okay, that guy. I actually want to make note. He is a possible Spanish speaker. Obviously, I've spoken with him in English at one point in time, but he just the phone number had given me like an auto text, and it was in Spanish. So I make that note because just in case somebody needs to follow up in Spanish as opposed to English. Or like if we call and we like text him or leave a message in English, and it goes unresponded, we may know why, This guy hadn't really thought about what he was going to do with it. He just has a lot going on, is what he said. And he said it was cooled around back in about 6 months. That was about 3 months ago. That was about 2.5 months ago. Just getting a little bit more aggressive with it, making sure that none of these slip through the cracks, and he's maybe talked with somebody else in the meantime. I don't run comps anymore like I used to as the beginner before I call, but I at least want to pull it up on batch leads to see if there's any like new liens or anything that are attached to the property, which there are not. And then I also like to just pull him up within the system here to see like why. Oh no, I already have that. This was so he's an absentee owner, cold call absentee. Let me give him a call. Cool. He said in a year, seems like he would rather talk in Spanish. Okay, see the perfect example. I put that note in back in August, and now I'm coming across it a couple months later. I will give him a call in English just to see if kind of play that lead manager type role to see if he is still interested so that I can pass it off. But because if I can get a response out of him and he can say like, no, I'm not interested. And,
Hello?
hey, Jose, how's it going? This is Derek.
Yes, good.
Hey, good. I don't know if you recall, we had spoke months ago about your place over on Lake Brook Drive. Just wanted to see if you were still interested in selling that place there. He hung up. I'm going to hit him with a quick follow back. Hey, looks like we were disconnected. Because again, if he's not interested.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, I think we got disconnected there.
Yeah. Who did you say?
My name is Derek. We had spoke, I think, back in like June or July about your property on Lake Brook Drive. At the moment, you had said that you were interested, but it would be another couple of months. So I just wanted to reconnect with you and see if you were still interested in selling that place, and if the time was right for you.
Oh, no, not right now. Maybe later, I think, but not right now. I'm okay with that,
Sure. Let me ask: is there something specific that's needing to happen before you do decide to sell?
Oh, okay, I'll let you know. I'm gonna change my mind. I'll let you know.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Not gonna keep him on the phone and try to pull information out of him. Not ready yet. Better to follow up in Spanish. He speaks English, but I just don't really think that I'm gonna have a productive conversation with him in English. Because even right there, just extracting a little bit of information goes a long way. Like if I can find out if something's holding him back, then I can maybe look to offer some solutions there. But there's clearly a language barrier. So, but he did let me know he wasn't ready. Not ready yet. Better to follow up in Spanish. I'm gonna say like I don't know, 3-month follow up to at least determine. He may not be ready in 3 months, but at least to be able to get him on the phone and figure out, like I was saying, what his story is. Because this is just straight off of a cold call. He said in a year back in July. So what is that? August. It's been about 5 months. So about halfway along what he had said. I'll set it out for another like the end of February. Benito, this guy said maybe in a year. So he said, or so he said to call back. Same thing. Seems like I talked to this guy around the same time I talked to the other guy back in July. He said in a year. So again, giving him a call a little earlier. This is a virtual driving for dollars lead. It looks like that I had cold called. Going to quickly pull him up in batch as well. And I just want to get a little bit of a synopsis, if I can, on what's going on with the property, and if there is any motivating factors there that I should be aware of. Not like I'm going to get on the phone and be like, hey, it looks like you filed for bankruptcy or there's a lien, but at least something to hold in the back of my mind if there is something going on, which there isn't. No liens, one property. Looks like he still owes some money on the mortgage. Owned it for about 22 years. So not sure of his story either. Like I said, this is just driving a dollar property, so there is some physical distress there. Let me get a hold of him, see if there's anything about with.
Please leave your message for 2.
So this one's a little funny. I may end up just removing this one if I get a hold of her again. So this was a bandit sign lead. Jared took the call. She said that she couldn't talk much when she called, or maybe he had called her back, told her because she was driving, and then we couldn't get back a hold of her. And then I called her a couple days later, and I connected with her. This was like a week before Thanksgiving, and I started mentioning, yeah, it looks like you had spoken with my partner, and she said, oh, and hung up. So I'm gonna get her back on the phone and just try to again confirm if it's even something that she's interested in, because I don't want to continue bothering her or waste our time over here trying to continue, pulling information.
Please leave your.
Doesn't really know what he wants for it. He was about to get listed on market with a realtor since he wants a realtor to handle it since he doesn't really know things about the values. Took my number down so she can give me a call. If I don't hear back by Friday, I'll call him. Okay, that was last week. Said it's supposed to go on market in a few days. I don't know. Sounds like he's full of shit. Just wants to get off the phone. Yeah. This guy, I actually talked to this guy on a live stream a while ago when I first cold called him. He was a great lead, but I don't know. Something's just holding him back. He has tenants in there. The place, I think he just has he had unrealistic expectations on the price. There's nothing really going for his property. I hate to say it's in a flood zone. There's no real renovation going on in the area, but when I had comped it, I remember seeing it. So that's really the only thing he has going for a lot with a property that either needs a full renovation, but in all honesty, I would just think that it would be beneficial to tear it down and have some new construction go up. And yeah, there's a lot of new construction going on in the area, just not right in his little pocket, probably because of the flood zone, if I had to guess. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is, yeah, it's in like a desirable area. It's just this one little pocket where there's not much going on. Let me see if anything sold in the last 3 months. Over here, half acre sold for $179 in September. Something that I would imagine sold as is. No picture popping up, but it sold $122. Here's another one. Okay, here's a new construction home. It looks like sold for $275, which is reassuring. Oh, it's not even new construction. So here's a flip. Yeah, but it's twice the size. That's okay. I remember now. The property's tiny. You would have to either make additional, add square footage to the property to be able to get something like this. But at that point, you might as well just tear the property down. In my opinion. Let me give him a call. Let me see if I can get him on the phone. It's not on market, like you said.
Hello?
Hey, Eli, how's it going? This is Derek.
Who is it now?
This is Derek.
Derek?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember. We talked a while ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, okay.
I remember about the Dillon property. The developer contacted you or gave her your information.
Oh, okay. No, so I think you're actually thinking of my partner that you spoke with the other day. But I can see that in the notes here that the realtor was supposed to reach out. I don't believe she had. So that's why I wanted to reach out to you just to see where you were at with things. So I can see in the notes you were considering listing it on market. Is that something that's definitely going to happen?
That's what we discussed, yes.
Okay. So you and that realtor, you put together a listing agreement that kind of gave them permission to put it on market for you?
No, I haven't given her permission to put it on. I can say that.
Okay. So you're still in the preliminary phases of having that conversation.
And so we'll see what will happen from there, all right?
Okay, yeah, no problem. Just so that I know, is selling it, off market in as is condition for cash something that you're interested in at all?
Mhm. But as I said, see, I'm just letting her, and she's in a better position to know, about it than I would know about it now. I don't, I don't know. I'm just not in a position. She would be in a better position than me to do it. So, but so we just keep your still in contact, and we might come up with something. All right.
Yeah, I understand that completely. And so it seems like you're wanting, the realtor to kind of handle the logistics of everything because and this is me asking. Now let me ask you. It's more so about the price, am I right? You want to make sure that you're not leaving anything on the table?
That's right.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll be on the lookout for that call from the realtor. What is her name just so that I know?
Rhonda Denman.
Rhonda. Okay.
Uh,
All right, perfect. Well, I will let my partner know that he should be expecting a call from Rhonda. If it's if we don't hear from her within the next few days, is it all right if I round back with you and see how things are?
Come on, you can do that. Okay. I'll pick up the number. I think I remember for some reason. See, I get so many different calls.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I picked up your number. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Um, so that was just a little bit of the same. I don't want to, hey Derek, what's going on, Deidre? I don't. I could. There's an opportunity for me to be like overly pushy there. Not overly pushy, but maybe try to like sway him a little bit more. But I think. I think taking that approach and just like being patient with him is going to be the best thing because it's going to allow him to feel comfortable, even if he decides not to go with the realtor. That he'll remember, like, oh yeah, like that guy Derek, like he never like pushed anything on me. Like, it's just about like making him feel comfortable, I think, at this point. What's up, Jared? Any good combos? Not quite. Talked with 3 people, just spoke with Eli. He seems a little kind of shocked that that realtor hadn't reached out to you yet, Jared. So I would just double check to be sure that you hadn't received a call from a Rhonda, which is her name, the realtor. Same thing. He just wants to make sure he's not leaving any money on the table. He just was saying she's in a better position to make these kind of decisions on his behalf. Um, I don't even think that he has not. Okay, so I'm going to talk out loud as I take notes here in the CRM. So connected with seller, um, seemed surprised that Rhonda, the realtor, hadn't reached out yet as she passed Jared's info along to her. Derek confirmed that selling it off market was something that he was not interested in. Um, he seems open to anything really, but thinks that the realtor is in a better position to ensure he doesn't leave any money on the table. Say received permission to follow up later this week. We won't hear from Rhonda by then. So yeah, I had a conversation with him. I had another guy who wasn't ready. Another guy who wasn't ready either. He was Spanish speaking though. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. I think I just called this person. I don't think I documented it. Yeah. Be right back. Let me use the restroom real quick. Take it off the screen just in case anybody walks in here. All right. A few more calls here. Start blowing through them too, to be honest.
Hello, you've reached his phone mobile number. She's unable to take your call at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at your note here, Jared, about that property right there. It's like the voicemail doesn't sound like the person's name on title, and you're right. And I remember this one. It's it's like the seller is an Asian woman who her English isn't the best, so it sounds like she had somebody else record the message for her. And if you listen carefully in the voicemail, you'll hear her say, "This is her. You've reached her voicemail, not like my voicemail." Just to reassure you, that is the correct number. I have that's not the same person. That's not the seller who's on that answering machine there. This seems like maybe probably the best one that I've come across in a while that would be good for something creative. She's owned it for 20 plus years, um, and others getting old, doesn't want to manage them, tired landlord, but everything's like brand new. So I talked with her in July. New AC, new roof, kitchen and bathroom updated a few years ago, and I think I even saw pictures from when she bought it or something like that online. So just assuming since she's owned it for 20 plus years, it's either close to paid off or paid off. So that's probably one that's good to pitch creative if she's open to it, especially because she's like a tired landlord and kind of would understand the benefits in it, I would think. Ooh. Seems unsure about those people buying his roofing company. I asked what were his plans then, and he said he was busy that he can call me back. Seems like he's full of shit. Want me off Yeah, same thing. Looking to retire, sell his roofing company, move to a property up in Huntsville, currently being remodeled. Property on Monarch, recently remodeled before they bought it in '05. Granite countertops, whatnot. I mean, you had just talked to this guy the other day. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. I mean, if you want to call him later, but seems to be kicking the tires. I just want to make sure that since there's a lot of people to follow up in here, I want to make sure that I'm maybe trying somebody that we haven't talked to in a while. Elderly wants to get into some type of senior living, going to give it some real hard thinking by October, November, where she could call around, see how much she could afford, wants a place with some security since she's going to be living alone. No answer, no answer. Haven't been able to get a hold of her since then. So let me give her a call.
Marsha Carter.
I remember talking to her too. I remember that conversation very specifically because I was dialing from my mom's house that day. So that memory sticks out. Said not right now. Back in July, has tenants in there. Seems like he cares about them because he said something about they have kids. So I'm guessing he doesn't want to kick them out. Gave permission to follow up in 3 months, see if anything's changed. That was back in July, and we haven't been able to get him on the phone since then. Give him a call right now. Right now. As I'm doing that, I'm gonna pull it up in batch, make sure he hasn't already sold anything funky like that. He has not.
You're calling.
That was another driver for dollars property. The guy owns 2 properties, so this is probably his one and only rental. His objection again back in July when I talked with him was his tenants. So as long as we can take care of the tenants, I think that it's something that we'll be able to take care of for him. Try to get Chin on the phone here.
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh, but I don't know, Jared, you were on here, or if you're still on here, but I got a hold of Jim or James over on Glacier. We set a call for tomorrow at 1 p.m. At first, he was like, I'll call you. And then he like switched up and was like, give me a call. Again, just like we were saying, the guy's motivated. He just keeps forgetting. And then, it kind of seemed like in the moment he realized, like, no, like I need to do something about this. So call me tomorrow at 1. So this guy had tenant problems, hopes that they'll either pay or get out by the end of the year. He says if he'll sell, if not, he'll have to evict them. Same thing, tenant issues. So haven't really been able to get this guy back on the phone since then either. That was back in August, it looks like. Back in end of August is the last time we talked with him. Tried him multiple times since then with no answer. See if I can get him on the phone right now. I want to pull it up just to be sure again that I'm calling somebody who still owns the property. They do.
I apologize that I am unable to.
Yeah, that happens every time. I'm gonna try him from another one of my numbers just in case that one was marked spam or like blocked within his phone. So I'm gonna try from another one of my numbers real quick. Just to see if it at least rings more than once. That's what happens every time. It rings once and it goes. I don't know why it's not giving me the option to put it on speaker, but it's ringing. Well, that was weird. It did ring, but for some reason it wasn't giving me like the options to mute or put on speaker or what. But I'm gonna say called from phoner number rang once and went to voicemail. Called again from Cloud's number and it rang a few times before dropping with no opportunity to leave voicemail. That sounds good. Trying to work a deal with him for sure. Happens to me too. From all my numbers, shoot him a text. Yeah, okay. Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, Robert?
No.
I'm sorry. I was looking to get a hold of Robert. This is Derek. Do I have... He said no and hung up. Interesting. That was the first time anybody's answered that phone number in a very long time. And it didn't sound like Robert either, to be quite honest. Connected with somebody. Oh. If I were to guess, I think the number is just recycled because at one point it looks like Jared, you connected with his uncle, and his uncle told you that he doesn't have a phone anymore or something like that. And I bet you just somebody else is using that number now. Yeah, Jared. That's what I'm calling right now.
Please leave your message.
That was uncle. Tried him. No answer. See, I would have. I mean, it wasn't him. I know what Robert sounds like. That sounded like a Robert. I know what he sounds kind of like. and this isn't me passing judgment, he just sounds a little bit feminine in his tone of voice. That guy was like, no, this isn't Robert. Like I remember his voicemail now. If that would have went to voicemail, I would have been able to confirm if it was still his number or not, because his voicemail was like, hey, you've reached Robert. If you are a scammer, delete my number and never call me back, or something like. If you are a legitimate company, leave me your name, message, and I'll get back to you. It's like exactly how it sounded. Said he'd be interested in 8 to 12 months. That was back in September. I don't know why I was said it's such a. Has a tenant in place, wants to respect the lease. He did not confirm when the lease was up as he was busy at work and had to go. Plan is to follow up in 2 to 3 months to have a better conversation, possibly explore buying a place. I see. Yeah, okay. He said 8 to 12 months back in September. It's been 3 months. So I know he's probably not going to be ready. But I at least want to just keep that conversation going.
Hello?
Hey, Rolando, how's it going? This is Derek.
Hi.
Hey, I don't know if you recall, we had talked a little bit ago about your place over on Buckland Lane. Just wanted to see if you were still interested in selling that property there.
Not right now for the moment, okay?
Okay, yeah, I remember you saying that you had some tenants in there, right? And you're waiting for them their lease to finish.
Yeah, I got to rent.
Right. When do you think you would be ready? When are those tenants' lease up?
Well, I need to talk to my daughter about that because I'm going to give it to her.
Oh, okay. So there's no interest in selling then. Once the tenants are out, you're gonna go ahead and give it.
No, now. Maybe in the future, but not now.
Okay, yeah, that's why I ask. I just want to make sure that I'm not, bothering you. When would you say is a more appropriate time for me to round back with you?
Well, right now, I don't intend to do nothing.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
All right, sure.
All right, bye now. Language barrier there. Again, same thing as the other guy. Just no point in really having a fruitful conversation with the guy if there is that barrier. Connected, but at least kind of extracted that his motivation might not be as high as I initially anticipated, because he threw out the option of giving the property to his daughter. But does the daughter want it, or you know what I mean? Connected with seller, bit of a language barrier. Mentioned that the tenants are still in place. Not sure when the lease is up. Mentioned he may give it to his daughter as opposed to give. Well, I'm gonna actually mark this one as Spanish speaker. Follow 3 months to see if there's any level of interest, or if he is definitely just going to give it to his daughter. I don't want to go ahead and delete this one right away because there is still that opportunity. Like if he's a tired landlord and doesn't want to manage the property, and I would imagine there's probably some work that needs to be done to it. I don't know his daughter, but is she in a position where she wants to start managing a property, or maybe she'll move into it? I don't know. There's just a lot of questions to be asked there. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, just based on like street view, it's not like the best looking property, but it's also not falling apart. So set it for a 3-month follow-up, round back with him, see what he's talking about. I am going to mark this one as Spanish speaker, and move it to the miscellaneous leads pipeline or Spanish speaking leads. Same with this one. Oops. All right, I'm gonna call it right there because I gotta get going. Couple good conversations. I mean, nothing crazy, obviously, but just pushing it along, pushing these through the pipeline. If you just imagine a funnel, we're just jamming as many leads through the top and forcing them down to squeeze out the bottom as best as we can. So, these little conversations, these little touches, I'm realizing go a long way. Even if it's just to kind of put it back on their mind, right? Where we had the conversation 6 months ago and maybe nobody else has called them. Um, which I imagine a lot of people who I talk to today didn't sound like they're getting a lot of calls, right? So even if it's just me saying, "Hey, are you still interested in selling that?" and they're like, "Oh, no, 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 no," and then we get off the phone, and then for the rest of the day, they're thinking, who knows? Maybe the tenant calls in the next hour and is like, "Hey, my fucking toilet is overflowing, and you got to come down here and fix all these things because the roof's leaking," and you know what I mean? You just never know. So I'm finding that these little touches mean more than meets the eye, right? If it's very easy to think that like the conversation, the extent of the benefit of having that conversation is just to simply find out if they're ready to sell or not. But to be quite honest, I think a lot more goes into it. Again, just kind of making those little touches so that if something does come up, they're like, let me give this guy a call back. Like I don't want to fix this roof. I'm done, with plumbing. I'm done plunging toilets for somebody. Let me just give this guy a call. I'm ready to part ways with this thing. And now they have somebody to call back, right? As opposed to like if the last time I spoke with any of these people was 6 months ago, the likelihood of them saving my number, and reaching back out is a little bit lower. Not to say it won't happen because the deal that we have in escrow is, I guess, a testament to that. The guy called me back after a year, but I'm just doing, myself a favor to be proactive about that and touching base with people. So again, none of these conversations were like crazy. Yeah, I'm ready to sell right now. Send me an agreement. But at the same time, I feel good that progress is being made. I just want to make sure that I'm at least talking to sellers and finding out their level of interest on a daily basis. So I am going to try to get a little bit of cold calling done again later today when I take like a little lunch break because I want to make sure that I'm at least helpful just to like touch base with 10 people today, knowing that I really have a packed schedule and I'm not going to be able to get much done. Whereas on some days where we have fresh data in the dialer, fresh IDs, like I'm really trying to hit 50 plus contacts. But, I don't want to beat myself up too bad knowing that my schedule is jam packed and that, I can at least do a little bit of something every day. So that's my goal is to remain consistent as opposed to going all in on one day and then not doing anything for the next couple of days. I just think it's kind of counterproductive to do that. So gonna end it right here. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Appreciate you for watching it after the fact. If you're catching it after the live stream, it's on here for about an hour. Got what I wanted to get done. Tapped in, touch base with everybody on the 2 deals in escrow, the sellers, the buyers, the eviction team, the title company, and hit some follow-ups as well, just to kind of keep things pushing along in the funnel. So appreciate you guys for hopping on here. Do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the content and look forward to me hopping on here live a little bit more frequently. Like I said, once these checks start coming in, I'm going to start allocating a lot more time to wholesaling. So you can be on the lookout for that. Again, appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.